Welcome to the Work Done Right podcast, where we talk with industry professionals to discuss best practices in construction, manufacturing, and maintenance. I am your host, Wes Edmiston, Director of Product with Cumulus Digital Systems and 15-year construction industry veteran. We're here for another live recording at the Built World's Americas Summit as we're doing these podcast recordings live for the first time. Our guest today is Janis Pieterwas. Janis is the Construction Innovation Manager at GOLDBECK Group and is responsible for seeking out new technologies and ideas from startups, industry partners, and construction-focused VCs to improve construction site efficiency. In his position, his main goal is to improve workflows on construction sites and increase productivity, focusing primarily on construction robotics and field applications. Janis received his master's degree from Leipzig University of Applied Science in Germany in 2018. Janis, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Wes, for having me.
Yeah, so just kind of to provide a little bit of clarity to some of this, GOLDBECK is a company that maybe here in America people might not have heard as much about. Could you provide a little bit of information about what GOLDBECK is and what sort of projects it is that you all specialize in?
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna start with the elevator pitch. So basically, we came to the States about 4 years ago with a little innovation hub. But what GOLDBECK is actually about is it's a design, build, and operate company with a productized building approach. So basically, we do have an vertically integrated business model, and we build commercial real estate that is completely productized and standardized. So what that means is basically look at it as a portfolio of buildings in logistic halls, warehouses, office buildings, multifamily housing, multi-level parking garages, schools, sometimes gyms. So it's a narrow space, and what we did is we productized all of these buildings. So the backbone, basically the structural components are all standardized. And we also produce all the components that are needed to build these buildings in our own factories. So if I would run you through basically the life cycle of a project or the product service ecosystem, so to say, we basically start with a sales cycle. So we have our own sales engineers in-house and architects too, and they basically narrow down the first design of your product with you together pretty fast. We boiled down most of our buildings in a set of about 80 parameters. These are questions we ask our clients, and it's functioning questions. We're not talking about the machine room in the back, we're talking about functions. So how is it that you want to use your building, and what are the temperatures you expect, what's the light situation, what do you want from your building? And we're gonna take care of the entire backbone, so to say. So design comes first. Once we narrowed this down, I'm going to shift to the production. And currently we're spread across Europe in 16 countries currently, and we own and operate 13 factories. They're also distributed basically across Europe to basically reach all the countries. And in the factories, we produce the components for those buildings. And once they are produced, we ship them either with trains, preferred, or trucks to our job sites. And on the job sites, we basically do turnkey, basically assembly. Look at it like a big Lego game, so to say. And once the building is completed, we take over and also offer a 5-year service program that comes for free. So it's basically commercial real estate with fixed prices, fixed handover date, and 5-year service for free. That's more or less the business model. And so far we are spread across Europe. Company has now around 12,000 employees, turnover of around $7 billion, and started back in 1969, so a little over 50 years now. And yeah, that's GOLDBECK for you. And I'm part of GOLDBECK's innovation hub here in the States. And yeah, basically open innovation. We talk really to everyone that comes in with great ideas. Academia is one of them. We talk like we are partner at Sci-Fi in Stanford. Talk to the MIT guys, and then on top of this, of course, like we're talking to entrepreneurs, people with like bright minds and ideas to sort of improve our business models and our productivity on the job sites in the design phase and production.
Yeah. So thank you for that background on that. Something to highlight in that is that Goldbeck is like all in on modular construction in a big way. I mean, you all are more aggressive in your pursuit toward modularization than I think any other company that I've seen, that I've worked with in my experience. And I think the thing that well characterizes that is whenever you're talking about, going from design to build, you said where you went after design was to the factory.
Yes.
You didn't go to a site, and I think that's where a lot of people would hear this and say, to the factory. Well, what the heck are you building in a factory, right? So you all are taking, like you were saying, kind of like a standard sort of design and providing this potential experience to a customer,
That's
right?
right.
And what sort of projects is it? I know you had told before that
Commercial real estate.
okay,
So
anything in that portfolio, parking
exactly,
garages, offices,
exactly.
and you all even, if I recall properly, you built the Tesla factory. Where was
Yeah.
that one?
In Berlin,
In Berlin.
just outside of Berlin. Yeah.
Right. And so within this, everything in there is modular. With that, with everything being kind of the standard kit of parts, how is it that you all are handling some of the kind of nuances, these requests that you
hmm
inevitably get from owners? Because so I've worked as a subcontractor, a contractor, as the owner, and I know that these kind of just seemingly random and BS requests or
Yeah.
demands for their specification, their standards. It shall be this way.
Yeah.
Get thrown in there a lot. So how are you capable of working with some of these owners, some of these clients in this modular capacity? How does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, super good question. I think one thing that we like had to learn, I guess, like on our journey was sort of to understand what we are good at, and we are like very good at delivering these products basically on time with like a competitive price. But we had to find our niche, and the niche is yeah basically part of the system, just like fairly simple construction. So we're not doing the highly sophisticated hospitals and things like this. We picked a niche for us, and we're very good in delivering in that. Basically, the way we yeah give our like clients sort of room to customize is basically the thesis is we standardize the invisible, sort of backbone of the building, and everything that's visible is customizable. So if we talk about it at a product, say like a warehouse, for example, or let's pick an office building. What the customer is actually interested in, they want to have a beautiful looking building. It's supposed to look nice, so facades are important for customers, I think, and then also the footprint, of course, like that it's like functional for them, and then the materials that they later experience in the operations phase, right? Like, I don't know, carpets and everything you touch, you see, so aesthetics. And in this capacity, we basically leave all the room our customer are looking for. So we're very customer centered in that sense. We do have like 3 system centers in Germany. They're like basically big exhibition halls where like our products are exhibited in like real size. We have like a VR room there, and our customers can select all the materials basically in 3D, and then they can also feel it, touch it, like all the things. So I would say if I would need to describe it, the degree of customizability is 90% of the product, I'd say, is standardized, and the 10% that's needed to make it yours is yeah absolutely possible. What we are trying to do is Goldbeck is like we have a decentralized organization, so we basically have around 110 branch offices that are spread across Europe. The idea is to be very close to the customers, sort of like be able to crack the same jokes and speak the same language
Right,
after all.
right.
And this is very helpful to come into a project early on, And basically, sometimes, like most of the time, we are the design department, the architects ourselves, right? We have 2,500 architects and engineers in house, so we have the capabilities to do it. Sometimes some customers come in with an architect. Maybe they've built with the architect before, like the design, the aesthetics. So what we would do is we are still trying to come in early, take the initial draft, and basically ingest it in our product. And this leads to some changes here and there, I would say. But like we'll always find a good way with the architect to make sure the aesthetics that like the customer expects are met. And then everything in the background, the backbone is going to be gold baptized, so to say.
Right.
Yeah.
I imagine, does that enable you to cut down on a lot of the front end engineering as well, since many of we'll say like the structural aspects of all of this has it's kind of already been weighed.
Oh, for
Any
sure.
permutation of this has already been done before, so you
Yes.
have all of that historic
Yes.
knowledge and information. Does that help cut down on that time frame and cost as well?
100%. So we build 600 buildings every year, and 300 of them are logistic and warehouses. Then we build around like 100 office buildings. So look at it this way: we iterate 600 times every year per product. Sometimes, yeah, a few hundred times.
Right.
So we know we know the processes very well, and we're like very process focused. Therefore, like we make sure that because it has to be it has to be an oiled machine if you do it so often. So where it really pays off for us is in the design phase. It starts there. So we developed a app. It's called, yeah, it's basically like Tinder, but it's just the construction Tinder, so to say.
Yeah.
It's called the Design Finder.
Okay.
Finder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can select your superintendents who you want on your job site.
Well, maybe in the future, we'll see. We'll see. So for now, it's basically to narrow down like our customers' like needs.
Okay.
Like what facades do you like? What are the things you, I don't know, appreciate, like this window, I don't like this door, whatever. It's like about materials and aesthetics. And then our sales engineers come into the first meeting. They already have a good understanding what the customer actually wants, and they only ask like a set of questions that are about functions, really, not like we're not going into the nuts and bolts. Because like the clients, if you buy a car, you don't want to know what pistol
Right.
is used in the engine. You want to know the color, you want to know the materials, you want to talk about the functions, the horsepower or whatever.
Right. Right.
So we do this, and so in the design phase, we ingest the design finder results. We ingest like those parameters that are requested, and then we're able to basically generate a G code, like production ready model, within 10 minutes. It's like just basically a processing time of the computer, 10 minutes. And then you have a model, and the architects basically just come in and then basically twist the footprint a little bit and like work on the facades more if the client wants something. So long answer to your question. Yeah, we are the repeatability is, I think, like is a cool advantage
Right.
to capitalize on, and everything is basically repeatable production. We are like producing the same parts, so we become more efficient over time. Of course, on the job sites, I would say, I mean, my background is in civil engineering. I worked as a site manager for many years, and I would say, like, if you pick a crew from one of our job sites and swap it out with another one, like say you swap crews of two parking garages or warehouses,
Right.
give them like a couple days and they should be able to manage the job site because they know the products, they know how it works.
Right. Yeah, no, that's that aspect of standardization for the design and of the construction process seems to me to be a big area where the rest of the industry kind of has a lot of room for opportunity for improvement, because we do. Yes, all of our great GCs out there have their standard operating procedures. These are our corporate procedures, but for some unknown reason, I guess it's because we're all human and we all want to make our stamp on life, I guess, and justify our positions. We do this thing where yeah, we have to make it site specific on every single site. So we take a general idea and then we change it to be site specific. So it's no longer really the corporate procedure. It's
Yeah.
still just a standard specific job site
Yeah.
procedure. And then that just adds complexity from site to site to site to site. So we lose a lot of that standardization.
Yeah.
So to me, I guess one, finishing up in this idea in this domain of modularization and the way that you integrate this, there's a lot of room for improvement for the rest of the industry to see massive gains in this. And as a highlight of that, I'd like to just cover, not to just have a pitch out here for Goldbeck, but to summarize well the value of modularization, to touch back on that gigafactory, the Tesla factory. So could you tell us how long it took for you all to build that site?
Yeah. Overall construction time from like touching the ground to like key handover was around like 6 months. That's corn shell.
Yeah.
That's corn shell.
Yeah, that's, with the idea that the similar facility here down in Austin that's being built has been in construction for the last several years. And as a native Texan of 10 years, I'm very proud of the work that we all do in the South, and we have some phenomenal builders. But that difference in time is astonishing. So I think that this is an area where we here still, stateside, we have this big shift toward modularization, but we're not standardizing it in the same way that I think that you all with Goldbeck have done a phenomenal job of kind of perfecting the ways of working around that.
I mean, just to this point, like maybe like one thing to add, I guess like I do believe that like clients in like all continents probably like sort of have the same needs, right? Or like similar like expectations. They see like construction, I think, as, or our CEO and Hendrik Goldbeck like likes to say, this is like we're like the necessary evil, right? Like
Right.
no one wants to interact with us because we're super nice. I mean, maybe, but like most of the people just like, or clients, they want a building that they can experience.
Right.
This is the reason why they interact with us. So we have to make it as comfortable as possible for them. And I think we can sort of like bring some of the simplicity onto our clients and like take some of the pains out of their hands, like I think the same business model would probably also work in the States. Like it's the art of saying no sometimes and say, well, I think like if we like keep it simple and you build with Goldbeck in this system, or whoever is going to work with this approach, you're gonna get a building that is on price, like with a lump sum fixed price. Quality is gonna be great, and you get it to the time when you want to, like
Right.
fixed time. And I think that's also possible in the States. Like it's just, yeah, I don't know. One has to put themselves out there, I guess. Just like
I think so. So you covered that well. The idea of kind of that art of saying no, which is a very difficult thing for anybody to do, whether we're talking about in construction, when talking with the owner,
Yeah.
or in any situation in work setting. Saying no to somebody who's effectively paying you money to do something is a hard thing to do.
that's right.
But really, I think the thing that comes to mind whenever you're saying this is one. Well, yeah, you're what was it, Andrew Goldbeck? Is that what his name is?
Jan Hendrik.
Oh, Jan Hendrik.
Yes, one of three brothers. Yeah.
He's right that construction for the owner is a necessary evil, because if you think about it, it's just an expense for them, right?
Yeah,
That's not where they
of
make
course.
their money. That's where you make money, right?
Exactly.
They're only spending money with an aim of getting to an end result. And I think
right.
that for you all to say, no, listen, this is our expertise. This is what you want, and this is how we can deliver it on time, on budget, for the experience that you're looking for. It's then up to the owner to say, you're right, this isn't my competence,
Yeah.
right? My competence is in, the operations of this building or of this facility, whatever it is. And to have that understanding and to have that kind of humility in that is really what would help shape the industry in a way that would enable more people to kind of to join you on this journey of modularization in a way that makes sense.
I agree. If you think about it, like example, automotive industry, right?
Right.
Like we compare ourselves like Goldbeck a lot with them because like we also have this like manufacturing mindset, like factory mindset, and the equivalent of what we do in construction and automotive, I think, would be you order a car, you go down to the last nut and bolt, and then you going to go to the factory where they built your car, and you're going to be around the entire time just to make sure that they built the car the way you want it or
Right.
You ordered it.
Right.
And then at the end, the price is
Whatever it turns out to
whatever
be.
it turns
Right,
out to
yeah,
be.
yeah.
So like that can't be the case. Like if we wanna scale and deliver products like in an easy way, I think we should, or like it makes sense
Yeah,
from
yeah,
my
yeah.
personal experience.
There was a panel just a minute ago that was talking about productivity in the industry and what it is that we can do in order to ensure that we're able to achieve the productivity that we set out to have, and they related it over to the automotive industry, and there are people on there saying, it's just not possible. The nature of the way that we work is keeping us and will keep us from ever doing this. And by the sounds of it, that's not the truth, right? There is a better way.
I do believe so. Yes.
Hey, real quick, this is Wes. I just wanted to let you know that if you have an idea for an episode topic or a great guest suggestion, we would love to hear from you. Just send us an email at workdoneright@cumulusds.com. Now, back to the show. I was just going to say, we're running somewhat short on time, so I just want to make sure we had an opportunity to cover as well. So your specialty in all of this is innovations. As
That's
you
right.
say, you're over here, you're based in the Bay Area, and you're here to talk with the best and brightest in order to identify what areas of opportunity there are for GOLDBECK to improve their innovations, to expand their innovations, and to adopt new technologies.
That's
So
right.
I'd like to give you an opportunity in order to spell out the process for identifying new solutions, testing new solutions, and deploying new solutions for GOLDBECK, and how it is that you do standardize every single site kind of the same way, and how that goes. So could you lay that out there for us?
Absolutely, absolutely. Love that. Yeah, so we basically touched base in the States about 4 years ago. I'm here since then, since day
Welcome.
one. Thank you very much. It's been a great ride, really. But it's
Yeah.
like small team. We started off with like a team of three, then got another addition. We have four now, and the idea really is like we took this like integrated business model of GOLDBECK, broke it down into design, production, and construction, and the operation. So basically four verticals, more like three or four. And we have an innovation manager for each of these verticals. And the team is set up in a way that like all of us have a background in the actual projects. So we are with the company like for a while, and we also served on actual construction projects in various phases of the projects or like angles. And now the goal or the target is for this team to really find solutions, innovations that we can sort of incorporate into our like processes, and then basically uplift all of the projects. So the way we think about it, and I think like the standardization again is like a cool advantage for us, because I'm gonna pick an example for like construction, for example. So construction robotics is for us in the factory is like I would say more or less like standards, but like for like 20 years.
Okay.
Like we like keep automating more tasks in the factories. Takes time, but like step by step, and we can basically follow through with this on the job sites. And the idea there is that once we identify a technology where we see impact, either it's like coming like from a pain point from the job sites, maybe it's our own experience, sometimes it's something opportunistic. With robotics, like it makes a lot of sense because standardization, repetitive processes in production, so repetitive processes on the job site. So um, we paint like some of our like parking garages, for example, we paint the underside of concrete slabs. Super strenuous job. If you've painted like a ceiling before,
Right.
it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's nasty to say the least. It's just like uncomfortable.
For
And
something like that's heavy mill coating, it's even worse. It's potential to drip. It's just terrible. Yeah, gotcha.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like your neck's gonna hurt. Like it's uncomfortable.
Right.
Anyway, so if you do this like on a commercial scale, big time, and you have to do this every day, and you basically paint, and it's just not great. So we reached out to at the time it was like a company out of Tel Aviv, Okibo, and we basically asked them to help us cracking this use case for us. Um, we piloted their software, or sorry, their robot on our job site, and it was like the results were great. Like we were working very well, also together with our subcontractors. And then the next step is basically after this, yes, it's working on one job site. That means we can basically apply it amongst all of our projects that are the same. Car parks in that sense, it's like 100 of them every year. Perfect rollout. And this is how we think about like innovation in general. We are trying to identify innovations that we then make a new standard process within our company, sign enterprise contracts with the startups or technology provider, and then roll it out company-wide to uplift the quality of the entire company.
Yeah, that is vastly different than the way. So now working with the technology provider, again, having worked with a sub, a GC, the owner, and now on the technology side, that is not the way we do things typically. And I see even the customers that we have that have enterprise contracts set up for us or for other companies as well, it's still very much an elective site by site, project by project decision to use any of these different technologies. And it kind of goes by the whim of a couple of key stakeholders on each of these projects on whether or not these things will actually get adopted on those sites. So why do you see value in doing it this way, and what has gotten you to this point? Because I think it's a brilliant idea, but what is the value that Goldbeck sees in that?
I mean, the value really is that you impact the entire like company with your efforts of bringing in or like optimizing things instead of just like uplifting one project. And it is challenging because like you want to make sure that you're not sort of bringing something in from the top, and like we still have to have teams on the ground that like help us rolling the solutions out. But the rollout strategy is very comprehensive in a way that we really make sure it's becoming a standard process and people are supposed to work this way. And we expect it.
Yeah. And I imagine that culture though of kind of continuous, this is the way we do things, and when we roll something out, we're going to roll it out everywhere. That's the expectation. Because that's what's been reinforced. I imagine on a boots on the ground level, if somebody is hearing, we have this new technology or this new process, this is how we're going to do things. It's already been ingrained. Well, this is now how we do things, because we have a culture of not only innovation but also like a culture of adoption.
Yes,
basically. Is that how you see it?
I would say so. And also like our like CEO Jan Hendrik Goldbeck is like very innovation forward, really. Is like that's the reason why we have this like team in the States. So he's also a big advocate. So he would like bring it into the company news and like, guys, this is the new thing for the job sites. Like we found this in the States, blah, blah, blah. Like management support, I think is very important. And then what we also make sure is that we have like good support structures in the actual departments that roll it out. So if you have any questions, you need resources, you need anything, we have our own support hotline for the job sites. They can just like call in and say, okay, I want this technology now, or something's not working, and they talk to a Goldbeck service person that helps them out.
So you have your own like internal customer success that covers all of the innovations for a particular domain, whether it's construction, manufacturing, or the services.
That's right. It's like different hotlines. So basically, design and construction is basically we call this like BIM hotlines, BIM department hotline. And then, factories have their own and services have their own.
So 1-800-GOLDBECK, 1-900-GOLDBECK.
That's right.
That's the different
exactly.
lines. To me, that idea of having the mandate from the top, it's that kind of heavy-handed approach is very much discouraged from a lot of people, because the perception is, hey, we should do this collectively. But to me, that's the push. Right, that's just the initial kind of push out of the nest, and then from there, you're not just left to fly on your own. You have opportunities for soft landings in having a support system there. So it's not just this is the way we're going to do things. It's this is the way we're going to do things, and here are the resources in order to help you to succeed.
That's right.
So that to me is a huge opportunity for people to again take advantage of the learnings that you all have had over the last 50 odd years of being in business.
Yeah, I completely agree. And in best case, you just like have a like innovation or solution that you that the people just like want something that's like
Right.
like the pull is naturally created at some point. This is best case. Not always, but like most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's it's again very encouraging. Not everything is going to be just a knockout of the park home run, but still getting on first or second base is still a win in my book.
That's
But
right.
so, Giannis, we're coming right up on time. We'll like to ask a few last minute rapid fire questions to get
Sure.
to know Janis Pieterwas, the man, not just the professional. So, first question: what is your favorite book?
The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is that? Paulo Coelho? Is that? Yeah. I
I
think
think.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, great book. Then, if you could give any piece of advice to somebody just starting off in their career, what would it be?
I think it's incredibly helpful to have a find a good mentor, someone that that you can follow for a while and see how they sort of navigate some situations to sort of like, I don't know, place your or like find your place and see how you can start to navigate your job. It was like incredibly helpful for me when I started off. I did like a sort of like a hybrid dual study system where I had like a mentor. I was working and I was at university, so this gave me like a good sort of start
Yeah.
to know how to interact with the people. So find a great mentor, someone that you admire, maybe, or like respect, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great piece of advice. And then, if you could have dinner with any one famous person, living or dead, who would it be?
Okay. Um, I thought about it.
Mhm.
It took me a while. I would probably like go out with Michelle Obama.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really admire like the entire family, but I think with Michelle, it's probably like a lot of exciting conversation.
A lot of
Yeah,
stories to hear,
yeah,
right? Yeah, that'd be awesome. If Michelle Obama listens to this
yes.
episode, Giannis is open for dinner.
I would be very happy.
Giannis, thank you for joining us here on the show. I really hope that we can do this again sometime.
Thank you very much, Wes, for having me.
Awesome.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of the Work Done Right podcast. Please help us out by subscribing and leaving us a review. And as always, our show notes are linked in this episode's description. Thank you for listening and see you next time.